All right, you're welcome to class once again. In continuation of our previous lesson, Constitutional Development in Nigeria, now we'll be looking at MacPherson Constitution today. But before we go to MacPherson Constitution, let's quickly have a recap of what we learned in our previous class. In our previous class, I made you to understand that Clifford Constitution introduced elective principle in Nigeria, and the elective principle was limited to Calabar and Lagos alone. Now, Richard Constitution introduced regionalism to Nigeria, but one thing was said about Richard and Clifford Constitution. They criticized them because they did not consult the people. There was no consultation before the Constitution was drafted. So on this note, MacPherson Constitution came into being. MacPherson Constitution came into being in 1951. So we talk about MacPherson Constitution of 1951. So let's quickly look at the objective we have set to achieve for today's lesson. All right. We have to briefly explain the journey to MacPherson Constitution, also discuss the composition of the Constitution, and lastly, highlight and explain the future of MacPherson Constitution. Let's go into the lesson. All right. Like I said when I was starting this lesson, MacPherson Constitution did a lot of wider consultation. Clifford was criticized for not consulting. Richard was also criticized for not consulting before drafting the Constitution. MacPherson did not want to repeat the same problem, the same mistake. So he went ahead to consult the people before drafting the Constitution. So there was wider consultation of the Constitution. So after the consultation, these were agreed on. Now at the consultation, the northern part of Nigeria expressed the fear of the fact that the southern part of Nigeria could dominate the rest of the country because of the fact that they were lagging behind educationally. So they expressed their fear during that consultation. And that led to this decision. Number one decision, autonomy should be given to the regions. A level of autonomy should be given to the regions. Also, ministers appointed at the central level should be given ministerial responsibility. Also, there should be revenue allocation, which should be based on derivation, needs, and national interests. So these were agreed on during the wider consultation. All right, let's go ahead. Now, features of the Constitution, of the MacPherson Constitution. Now let's look at the Central Legislature. The Central Legislature had 136 members. 136 members. North had 68 members. East had 34 members. While West had 34 members. Also, it had Executive Council, but the Executive Council was renamed as Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers. Now, comprising of the governor, 6 ex officials, and the 12 ministers, 4 from each region. 4 from each region. Also, it introduced what we call regional legislature. Now, in regional legislature, the North had bicameralism, while the West and the East had what we refer to as what? Unicameralism. It introduced bicameralism to the West under regional legislature. Also, it also came up with revenue formula that was put in place under the Constitution. But let's continue. The failure of the Constitution. Now, the reason why I will be talking about the failure of the Constitution here is that these are obvious failure of the Constitution. Number one, the Constitution did not make provision for Prime Minister or Premier at the central and at the regional level respectively. That means there was nobody to carry out the business of the government. Also, there was no strong political party at the central. There was no major political party to control the central government. Each region had a party that was controlling it. Also, the governor had too much veto power. The governor could overturn any decision that has been made. So this and more we shall be learning in our Google Classroom. I'll be waiting for you there. Thank you.